Hi everyone, this is Attorney Poonam Minhas back with another informational video about U.S. immigration law, and today's topic is 5 do's and 5 don'ts when you appear at your USCIS interview. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit subscribe so you can stay informed about any updates, any new regulations, and any tips and tricks that I might have to share with you or anyone that you know. And if this is not your first time back, welcome back, and let's check out what I'm about to talk about today. So the 5 do's, this is something you do want to do when you appear at your USCIS interview. First and foremost, you want to make sure you show up on time or a little bit early. You don't want to be late. So in a little mixture, that's going to be your first do and also your first don't. So what does that mean? You have your interview set up with the USCIS office. You want to make sure that you appear on time and you check in with the notice that you received. If you show up late, you will be risking either them rescheduling you or they can just issue you a denial based on failure to appear. I've seen it happen. You do want to make sure that you show up on time. Aside from showing up on time, you do want to make sure that you are well prepared for the interview. If you have some issues, if you have some questions about, there is some immigration history on your case and you're not sure how to answer certain questions, you need to contact an immigration attorney so you can get a proper preparation, and that attorney can go over your immigration history with you before you appear. If you don't really want an attorney to accompany you at the interview, that's okay. At least invest in making sure that you prepare for the interview on what type of questions a USCIS officer is going to ask. So you want to make sure that you are well prepared for your interview. The third do, you do want to make sure that you take all original documents and copies for the USCIS officer. So if the officer is asking you questions during the interview and that officer does not happen to have something, maybe a birth certificate copy or a marriage certificate copy, and you happen to have that copy in your file, guess what? You're already well prepared and you can hand over a copy to the USCIS officer so then you can make sure that your interview will go smooth. So you do want to make sure that you bring all necessary documents. Another important factor, what I like to tell my clients is dress professionally. You do want to make sure that you care about the interview, that this is very important to you. So dress professionally. It's a good thing to do. I recommend it. And you do want to make sure that you are polite and respectful to the USCIS officer. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to get angry and upset. And you do want to make sure that you should listen to the questions being asked. So be polite, be nice, and I hope your interview goes well. Now let's switch over to the don'ts. This is something you don't want to do. So I'll give you 5 don'ts at your USCIS interview. These are 5 don'ts that you don't want to do at your USCIS interview. Number 1, we already started off with, hey, you need to come in on time. So you don't want to be late. Again, I want to repeat that if you do show up late, your interview may be rescheduled, or worse, they may issue a denial for failure to appear. And if you get a denial, then you may have to appeal to try to get it reopened again, or you're going to have to refile the whole thing, and then you're losing out on those expensive filing fees. So you do want to make sure you want to show up on time, so don't be late. Don't forget to bring your important documents, your passports, your green card, or whatever you have that's important in your case. You want to make sure you bring your important documents, so you don't want to forget them. You also don't want to lie, right? So if you get into some type of question where you're confused and you don't know how to answer it, don't lie. You don't want to end up with some type of fraud or misrepresentation on your case, and that's going to lead to other issues, which may be whether you can apply a waiver for that fraud or misrepresentation, whether you have a qualifying relative for it. It gets a lot more complicated, and that's where an immigration attorney is going to have to step in to try to help you rectify the issue. You don't want to be in a situation where you are guessing. You don't want to do that. If there's a question that's being asked and you're not sure, you're confused, you're not sure what it means, you may just want to say, "Officer, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat it again?" We'd rather have you do that than guess an answer. Guessing can lead to a lot more issues. It can open up a new can of worms, and it's going to go dive into maybe a bunch of questions that you did not want to be asked. So that leads me to my next don't. You don't want to volunteer unnecessary information. Don't start talking about your whole life story. If the officer is asking you questions, just answer that question. Don't go into this whole thing about, things that are not relevant, things that are not, necessary. That's only going to hurt you. So you don't want to guess, and you definitely don't want to volunteer information that is irrelevant to your case. I do hope that today's video was helpful to you for the 5 do's and the 5 don'ts. And I hope you remember this when you appear for your USCIS interview. Don't be nervous. And if you need assistance, if you just want to talk to an immigration attorney, you can always pick up the phone and schedule a consultation to discuss your case. But if your case is complicated, you do want to make sure that you're well prepared. I know that was one of the things I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So you do want to make sure that you're well prepared for it. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be informed every time I post up another video. I do want to let you know that I frequently post videos so you could be updated about any tips and tricks and regulations and updates on U.S. immigration law. So thank you for watching.